Central.
Yes, to land this. Mr. Walter Gretzky, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm still standing beside you.
Wow. Take two. I'll just go ahead and pinch me. Go on now. They're craft dating. When the 48-foot wooden schooners, the traditional kind.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie Beaumont. Welcome to CNB Scene, the show that celebrates all the people, places, and things that make the four Atlantic provinces so very special. From Nova Scotia to New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island to Newfoundland and Labrador, we take you to where the action is. And it's that time of year again to celebrate spring. Oh, and doesn't that sound good? Atlantic Canada has had its fair share of snow and cold this winter, and if you're anything like us, you're dreaming of green grass and sandy beaches. Well, it won't be long now till the seasons change, so we'll spend the next half hour getting you ready. We're in Halifax, Nova Scotia today with a team of experts on everything from gardening and fashion to furniture and floral design. We'll dole out some free stuff, and to be sure you're in the spirit of spring, we'll even premiere a signature cocktail celebrating Canada's East Coast. So let's get things started with CNBC's go-to guru in the garden. She's a best-selling author, popular radio host, beyond busy blogger, and about to launch her brand new book. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, groundbreaking food gardens and the lady behind the book, Nikki Jabor. How are you?
I'm great, Stephanie, and thanks for having me.
Well, it's good that you're here to celebrate spring with us because I always look to you to be sort of my expert when it comes to all things gardens.
Oh, well, thanks.
And you have assembled a great crew in this book.
I have, actually. I stalked, I think that's the proper word, 72 of my favorite garden experts from across North America and the UK and made them give me techniques, ideas, plans for gardens.
And that's what I love about it. It's literally, I can take this and I can say, okay, I'm going to do this in my garden, and it works with every kind of place. Is that right?
You can translate these to every place, and maybe you'd have to switch up some of the plant suggestions.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and it's
because
not.
you know I'm a rookie.
I know, but you're enthusiastic, and you've got a lot of passion.
And how many times did you mock my chive growing over the course of since we've last been together? Be honest.
Half a dozen, I would say, maybe, give or take, you know.
But they're still thriving. My chives are thriving.
And that's the good news.
It is the good news. And now we've got spring upon us, and we say to ourselves, the snow is just about gone.
I hope
When
so.
can we get crazy out there? What's the rule?
Well, if you have something like a cold frame, you can be planting out there now. You know, a lot of the cool cold season crops can be planted in your cold frames. If you don't, this is the time to start planning and maybe picking up some seed packs and, you know, thinking what you want to grow this year and what you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and I have an enthusiastic gardener that lives in my house. I call her the sidekick affectionately. And one of the plans in here that I asked you to talk about today is kids' gardens, because that's totally doable.
It is. And, you know, there's one of my favorite plans in the book, and don't tell anybody, but is a plan called Garden Squares for Kids.
Okay.
And it's by these wonderful UK garden designers inspired by storybook themes.
Oh.
You know, so you have a magic carpet, a strawberry magic carpet, hopscotch, you know, garden, as well as Jack and the Beanstalk, pole beans. So there's so many ways to engage kids in the garden, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It can be one pot, you know, maybe a pizza-themed pot or a dinosaur garden with ferns, you know, or you can put in a little plot. But if you're not used to gardening, if you're a novice, stay small.
Stay small.
Stay
Okay.
small.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because when you start talking carpet, I start getting worried. But really, I could do it in as simple as on my counter or outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And your deck, your balcony, or even in that design, there's 4 little squares that are each 4 by 4 feet. So the whole garden's only 10 by 10 feet.
Okay.
Very doable.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get out of control with weeds or pests or anything.
Okay. And now the good thing about gardening is that it's an activity we can do together, but so much you can learn from it.
Yeah, don't tell them that.
No. Okay.
We don't tell our kids they can learn from
Okay.
gardening. We tell them it's fun.
Right.
But yeah, you're introducing them if you're growing food crops to where food comes from.
Right.
You're also, then you can, you know, talk about the weather. Like if it's, you know, cloudy for a week or rainy for a week, why aren't the plants growing that well? Or composting, or even, I know you love the bees, you know, talk about the
do.
pollinators.
I love the bees. Now let's just go back to it, because we're here in the Maritimes.
Yes.
And we've got, you know, 4 distinct regions. I'm guessing there's a lot of disparity between the 4 provinces, or would that be true?
Well, there's a lot of overlap. A lot of things that, you know, that you grow in Nova Scotia, you can grow in New Brunswick and Newfoundland and PEI as well.
Okay.
You know, and then more northern, cooler regions, you're going to have to opt for things that grow more quickly, or you know, or start them inside, sort of thing. But it's amazing how much you can do in the Maritimes. I think this is the sweetest spot in the world for growing plants.
Is that true?
Yeah, ornamentals, perennials, shrubs. I mean, so many things can be grown here. Food crops. Yeah, it's amazing what we can do.
Okay, and food is like one of those things that if you can see where it starts and then bring it to your table, beautiful.
Yes.
What a great message.
Especially things like, I also have a lot of fruits and vining fruits and berries in the book too. So yeah, it's not just growing vegetables,
Right.
herbs, edible flowers, berries and fruit crops. Yeah, there's so much we can do here.
Here's one other thing, just before we get off the kids topic, because there's just a ton of great little things to make it funner, if that's the best way
It's a
to
great
say it.
word for gardening with kids, yeah. And I mean, color, I think, is a theme. And adding, if you're going to have kids in the garden, give them kid-sized tools, kid-sized gloves, and give them things that kids are going to like to grow, which means no Brussels sprouts.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
If you have, budding, locavores who want to grow local food, lemon cucumbers, so fun. Sun gold tomatoes, bush beans, and instead of growing green, try growing purple bush beans. So much fun, right? And they're magic, because when you put them in boiling water, they turn green.
No way.
Yeah, so kids love that.
Yeah.
Or radishes that are ready in 3 weeks from the time you plant them, or sunflowers, nasturtiums. Keep it fun. And if you're trying to maybe focus on the bees, look for bee-friendly plants. Things that provide nectar and pollen. There's just a wide range out there. Or butterflies. Look for plants that they can maybe lay their eggs on. Have a milkweed patch.
Milkweed patch?
Milkweed, that is a very important plant for monarch butterflies, and we need to support the monarchs. Their populations are in trouble. So you plant some milkweed, and it's a larval plant for them.
She's a fountain of information, tons of which you can find on Nikki's website at nikkijabor.com. Hey, and visit her new site at one she's just launched with 3 other great gardeners, savvygardening.com. Be sure to pick up a copy of her latest release, too, Groundbreaking Food Gardens, the official launch for which will be held on Saturday, April the 5th from 2 to 4, right here at Halifax Seed Company. It's set to be a fun event, and you can hit our site for all the details. And speaking of Halifax Seed, we've just got to salute them. Established in 1866, they are Canada's oldest continually operating seed company and one of the oldest businesses in the Maritimes. This is the 3rd generation of the Trigano family to run it, and back in 2012, they received the National Achievement Award for the Family Enterprise of the Year. Emily, Allison, and Fraser Trigano do a stellar job of stocking the finest and helping you grow it great. Next time you're in Halifax, be sure to drop in. Still ahead on CNBC, we'll visit another Halifax landmark to talk furniture, decor, and more. Plus, we'll hit SABS city favorite for style and shake things up at 2 Doors Down. And now, simple arrangement 101 with superstar flowers, Neville McKay. Take it away, Neville.
Hooray, thank you. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever the time it is. Look, there's so many things you can do with so many beautiful flowers these days, and it doesn't have to be extraordinarily hard to do. You just have to use good material. This beautiful bowl. So often I hear from people, I say, I don't have a container for flowers. Yes, you do, my darling. What are you going to put in that? Ritz crackers? No, put some beautiful flowers in this. In this already, we have water that has flower food dissolved in it, because that's really important. So once that's in there, we're just going to take some branches, and just take some beautiful branches that you've cut from the garden, or perhaps have gone for a walk and got them from the neighbor's garden. Always give your stems a fresh cut and put them directly in that water, so they lay directly in that, just off to one side. Now I've got this wonderful wire. Isn't this beautiful? This is decorative wire. You can get this at most flower shops or craft stores as well. We're just going to lay that directly in the top of this, just to give a little bit of color and interest to that design, as well as creating an armature. Now, an armature, of course, is a floral or non-floral product that is treated as a crisscross motion to hold flowers in place. So you can use less flowers and still make a really strong statement design. So a little bit of greenery. This is bay laurel. I wish you could smell it. It smells absolutely breathtaking. Just a little bit off to the side, I'm going to put this wonderful big brassica. Isn't this glorious? Brassica. Love that. For those of you who might recognize this as a cabbage, you're correct. But cabbage doesn't sound nearly as exciting as putting brassica in this flower arrangement, does it? So just again, off to the side. A little bit of foliage is going to work. Some variegated pittosporum, just in as well. Hydrangea macrophylla. Gorgeous, aren't they? I said that without spitting. How wonderful. These are stunning flowers. Here's the thing about these flowers. They're a heavy drinker. You know when you have a heavy drinker? Give them a good drink or dry them out, but give them a good drink and put those directly in this arrangement, because this is a real strong statement, and this armature is holding them in place. Already it's beautiful, and you've used very few flowers. So now you can get away with putting some things like the hyacinths in, which are going to add just, again, a little bit of a fragrance and a real pop of color to your day. A little bit more greenery just in there. You go right in there. Go in. People are watching. And you know, that's just about it. And you can keep going and going because you have that armature. You can add as much material as you want, or as little. You can make this high, you can make this lower, whatever you want. But look at that, how beautiful and simple that arrangement is. What do you think, kiddo?
And now you know how to make a simple arrangement thanks to superstar of flowers, Neville McKay. Thanks a lot, Neville.
You're welcome.
It's beautiful.
Easy peasy.
It's great to have Mr. McKay back with us for our annual spring special, and we've got some more great tips from him coming up on the show in just a bit. And if you visit our site, you can see Neville's great tips on where to go in his native Nova Scotia when you read his cool people profile. You'll also find the favorite spots of award-winning Cape Breton musician Margie Beaton. We've got Margie to thank for turning us on to a sweet spot to shop in North Sydney. La Quaintrelle is a vintage-inspired and handmade women's boutique that carries everything from designer clothing and accessories to gorgeous jewelry created by Cape Breton artisans. We asked shop owner Megan Finney what's hot in her store, and she told us large, timeless, and old-fashioned prints and tea-length dresses and skirts. She's also citing stripes and nautical designs in not-so-traditional colors. And when it comes to the must-have items for this season, well, Megan says it's the bright sailor or sweet pea dresses by Effie's Heart. They combine this season's hottest color and print trends with comfortable fabrics and universally flattering designs. For more on their store, visit laquaintrelle.ca, and you can even shop there too. We'll have lots more spring fashion advice from our friends here at Foreign Affair in Halifax, and free stuff too. But first, a follow-up to our last episode. The CNBC production report packed in all kinds of TV and film news, and while it hadn't been confirmed at the time our show went to air, we're thrilled to tell you now the Showcase original series Lost Girl, starring Fredericton, New Brunswick native Anna Silk, has been renewed for a 5th season. The Toronto production is slated to begin in spring, and Lost Girl Season 5 will premiere this fall. We'll be right back with lots more of CNBC's Spring Special. Welcome back to CNBC. We're celebrating spring in downtown Halifax. Next up, Attica Furnishings, or as I like to call it, 4 floors of fabulous. There you'll find wonderfully contemporary furniture and accessories by local and international artists and designers, from living rooms and dining room sets to children's rooms, rugs, decor, and more. Award-winning furniture designer Christopher Joyce and his wife Suzanne Saul have built a business on bringing a whole lot of beautiful into people's homes. You have everything.
We do, actually. We feel we're pretty much a one-stop place, and we work really hard to bring the latest in home design fashion here.
Which is nice. And then we're talking about trends and spring and all kinds of stuff, but there's so many classic lines I'm seeing here.
We mix it up in terms of, we look at contemporary, but then we take it to a broader contemporary context, because we don't want to be offering just one look of contemporary. We want people to be able to look at it, mix and match, and bring in different influences. Maybe, you know, having a rustic wood table with a sleek contemporary chair, you know, so that they're actually adding a lot of warmth and personality and adding something of themselves, so that we're not doing any cookie cutter type of.
I was going to say, well, you have to look very hard to find 2 of anything here.
Yes, actually, everything is hand selected. You know, this sofa here I picked out. It's down-filled, made in Montreal by G. Romano, and they're one of Canada's leading contemporary upholsterers. Nice. And so we're really proud of their collection. That's and we showcase it here.
Very good. Okay, now we're talking about warm woods and things like that, and there's a lot of reclaimed pieces that are gorgeous.
Yes, we actually started that many, many years ago, but it's certainly now come into vogue. But it's a philosophy that we've always worked with, and certainly, you know, I wouldn't overdo it at the same time. You know, you don't want everything reclaimed, but it's nice to mix it in and incorporate it in so many different settings.
We're in a historic spot for sure, right?
Oh, this building has had a history with furniture since the late 1800s.
Wow.
So there's
good vibe here.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous building. I wish it was mine, but we rent it. But it's beautiful, and there's just so much here to explore. And we have an elevator for people who don't want. When we tell them there's four floors, they're kind of like, but yes, there's an elevator, and there's just so much here, and it changes every day.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of stuff come and go. And then you've got your own history here because you're approaching 2 decades.
Yes, this summer we're going to be 19 years old. The store, not me, I wish, but
You look
but I'll have
fabulous.
that.
You look fabulous.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, my husband and I started Attica in the mid-90s because my husband, Christopher Joyce, we're both NASCAD graduates.
Yes.
Yeah, and he makes furniture. And at the time, nobody was doing contemporary.
Oh,
So we were kind of like, well, what do we do? Because we were trying to find a place to show his work.
right.
And so we found a workshop that it was a 3,000 square foot workshop. And I said, well, let's go in with the big idea. Let's make a store as well. So we had our studio and the store combined.
Nice.
So,
and
yeah.
now he's doing carpeting and painting.
He designs rugs for Hellenic Canada, and they sell them all over the world. And but he does paintings. Chris is a real Renaissance man.
Nice.
He's super talented
Yeah.
at everything.
And good
he
looking?
Yeah, oh yes, yes. And everything he touches, like he's just somebody. He's so skilled.
From one expert to another, time to meet up with floral designer extraordinaire Neville McKay. Between running his lovely shop, My Mother's Bloomers, and making guest appearances on radio and TV, not to mention presenting his brilliant creations at flower shows around the globe, he's one busy fella. So we're thrilled he's made time to talk placement with us.
It's a thing of beauty. Neville McKay, you make it look like it's so easy.
But it is easy, my darling. And whether you go with something really big and voluptuous like this, because, you know, being big and voluptuous myself,
Yes.
I enjoy that. But we can always keep it simple, too.
And I love this too because you often have a piece like this in your home. And if you're fortunate enough to have a gorgeous piece like this, and you think, how can I make it look like there's presence?
Absolutely.
And you've got this
functionality.
yes, exactly.
Functionality. This is lovely on a side table.
Yeah.
This would be great for a sofa table. You could take this and put this on the coffee table if you wanted to. You could do all sorts of things.
Big container, a lot of flowers, but you could take these flowers and put them in all kinds of places in the house.
Absolutely. So often we'll see these lovely big arrangements and people will just take a blossom out to have a special one for their bedroom perhaps.
Well, it'd be hard to find a more beautiful vessel than that.
Isn't it stunning? Just that
Yes.
beautiful bird on the branch and that wonderful hyacinth. Now the fragrance of that when you go to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning, absolutely beautiful. They've done studies on fragrance and sleep patterns, and people that have pretty fragrant flowers next to their beds when they sleep have less chance of nightmares.
Is that true?
It's true. This is a wonderful container. And again, it's one of those things that people look at and say, I'm not sure what to put in that. And I've seen people put just a bunch of fresh fruit in it,
Yes.
or some candles in it, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Potpourri.
Potpourri, or bridge mixture. Wouldn't it be great with some sushi put in it for a platter? Oh yeah, all those things.
But
you know,
flowers too.
Being a florist, I
Yeah.
kind of like flowers. So look, just by taking just a little bit of decorative accessories, just those twigs, just to set in there, to bring out, look at the shapes and look at the patterns in containers sometimes, and repeat that,
Yep.
as well as the colors. So something as simple
What
as
is this, straw, Neville?
that's called medallino. Here, hold your
Medallino.
arm, hands out.
Oh.
Catch. So 2 of these beautiful Gerber daisies, and just float those heads up in the container.
Come on.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Did
Maybe
I do that wrong?
Well,
Of course,
not
see?
wrong, but you know, we'll just for better visual impact. So
Yes.
it's not quite centered, and really, doesn't that make for a very strong visual impact?
And what
really
are we
bring
looking
that
at?
containers.
Like, be honest.
Price-wise?
Yes.
Well, you know, these are $2 and $3.
I mean,
you
come
know, so
on. Now,
And
look at that.
You could use a daisy out of the garden, or
Yep.
a beautiful stem of a dahlia, one big peony in the summer,
Lovely.
or a
But-
gorgeous rose.
But totally water, right? You can't just leave those babies. You got to have some water in there.
Well, you could leave them, but they're just not going to live very long, are they? You know, but absolutely, absolutely. You
Yeah,
can just
okay.
and there's just a little water in that. You can just see just a little water. It's not going to hurt you.
Okay,
So,
it's going to get ugly here. Okay, so I buy this plant, and then what am I going to do with it?
well, you know, so many people, Stephanie, get these wonderful plants, and they'll set them in a margarine dish or Cool Whip and stick it in the window for everybody to see. But you know, you can upgrade that. We all have beautiful. Look at this beautiful container.
See, now I'm
Use that.
panicking. Don't put anything in that.
Oh my
no.
darling, it's beautiful. That's what it's for. Look
you
at that.
sure?
Again, show functionality.
Okay.
You know, you're not gonna put nothing in it. So,
No.
and if you're worried about it, put a little liner, put a plastic in the bottom, a bit of
Okay.
cellophane, and just set that plant right in. Look how gorgeous that is.
See, that
because
is nice.
It's a really
That is
unusual
a
container.
statement.
It is. It's a statement, doesn't
statement.
it? It's an exclamation mark.
It is.
It
It's
really
gorgeous.
is gorgeous.
All right.
3 beautiful containers, like a beautiful collection. just a beautiful collection, a vignette almost.
A vignette.
And we can just take a few
Varying
leaves.
heights.
Really, really simple to do a composite design.
What kind of leaf is this, Neville?
This is called aspidistra.
Aspidistra.
It's also known as cast iron.
Stop it.
It
Why?
hangs, because it hangs on, like, just hangs on forever and ever and ever.
Oh,
Beautiful
very
plant.
good.
But see, so simple.
Wow.
That, and if you wanted to just leave the bottom, one of them empty,
Water in it, of course.
absolutely,
Again.
just always water.
Always water when fresh.
Always,
Okay.
always water and flower food. They've
Okay.
always got fortified water.
Fortified.
And see, just so
Okay.
simple. So, but isn't that pretty? And it's okay
Yes,
to leave
it's
one
pretty.
empty.
I would not think of it though,
That's
but it's
why I'm
beautiful.
here.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And again, this could do for a centerpiece unless you've got guests and that's too high.
It doesn't matter if you don't like the people on the other side of the table. Leave it high.
See, again, always value added. Okay, there's a couple of principles we should probably just like employ, if you will, not to get daunted by the whole thing, because flowers are easy.
Flowers are easy, and that's the thing, Stephanie. People tend to get a little wound up about flowers. Keep it simple, relax, enjoy them. If you love a pretty flower, you're not going to make a bad choice for placement. Flowers are food for the soul, and keep them that way.
Right.
Keep them that way so you can enjoy them.
Use any kind of vessel.
Any kind of vessel. Always look at a container and think, what can I do differently with it? Whether it's a mason jar or a pickle jar or a dish that you would put Ritz crackers and squeeze a snack in it, you know, there's always something you can put a flower in.
Well, they always make me feel better to see flowers, and seeing you, Neville McKay, oh my gosh, what a joy.
I am a petal, aren't I?
From flowers to fashion we go. Next stop, Foreign Affair on Spring Garden Road. For 40 years now, their buyers have been bringing in the latest must-have trends from Canadian, American, and European designer labels. Time to get a look at what's in style for this season. You, Marjorie Torrance, know what's in.
We try to know what's in, and it changes every season, as you
Right.
know. So you have to have new pieces to add to your wardrobe.
Well, here's what I like, color. Am I right about that?
It's a big color season. If
Yeah.
you have a gander around the store, there's every color, and there isn't a particular color that is really predominant.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I know orchid.
See, I went for it all here, hoping that
I
I
know
hit it on.
Wild orchid is the color, which was decided in January, but we don't have a whole lot of that. But we have red, we have gold, we have orange, color.
Nice. Okay,
Oh,
color.
and
Let's
a good
talk.
segue to orange.
Perfect.
So we have some color in leather.
Okay.
Bright orange. a
Now
little-
that's a statement piece, Marjorie.
It is a statement
Okay.
piece. But with those of us with so much gray, black, beige, that's going to liven everything up, isn't it?
Yes.
And because it's a nice fitted jacket, you can do it with anything. You can go with your boyfriend jean, if you wish.
Right.
And if you are not a retiring flower, you could also do it with the dress.
Oh, come on.
You could,
Would you?
for sure.
Wow.
Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
Yep.
And as you may or may not notice here, the dresses are getting a little longer. Things are mid-calf. Things are fitted. So you have to wear a heel with that.
Okay.
So there you go. There's a new ensemble, a dress with a longer length and a great punch of color.
Okay, and I say investment piece because it's a little bit more in terms of a price point, but you can use it so many options.
Exactly. So you can also do it back to your denim, which this year, denim is the thing. It's not so much print, it's denim. So here we have a boyfriend jean, which you could do your
In that kind of faded?
Yep.
Okay.
Faded, a little distressed, all kinds of variations on distress for denim.
I do distress naturally.
Well, yes, you should own it. I'm doing distress and I'm doing it naturally. But you could do it with anything. Again, you know, your groovy high heel sneakers,
Right.
flats. You're seeing a lot of kids rolling around places too.
Right.
So if we take our denim, when we can move into something else that's working a little new this year, is you're doing your silk blouse.
Okay.
And then you're putting your little interesting pattern sweater over. And then you wear it with your boyfriend jeans. And you're happening. You're ready to roll. Some color, some comfort,
Yes.
and
Sweet.
not so fitted, which is another
Nice.
thing that's a little interesting
Forgiving.
for
I
spring.
call it forgiving.
Another thing you're seeing a lot of for spring, and you will see again going forward into fall,
Okay.
is a high-low. So we have our little short sweater
Okay.
over our blouse that's a little shorter in the front
Okay.
with the tail in the back.
Wow.
And this is cutaway, which actually elongates a little bit.
okay.
So it's not so voluminous.
And bottom?
Again, you can do your denim if you wish.
Wow. That's fun.
Yes, and the other great bottom for spring is our athletic trouser.
Now, see, I remember this from the fall. Now, that's sticking around.
That's sticking around.
okay.
So you have a nice weight, if feels like you don't have anything on, elastic waist, which is
Right.
great. We can do a little patterned shirt.
Oh, that's pretty.
Well, how great is that?
I love that blouse.
And it's pattern on pattern. You have the turtles on one
Right.
side and the ladybugs on the other.
Wow.
You can tuck half
Very
in the
springish.
front, and then you wear it out this way.
Love it.
And then we can change it 2 ways. We can, of course, wear our Dynamite orange leather jacket,
Wow.
or to make it a little more business or day, I guess.
Now, see, Marjorie, you're bold. I don't know if I'd put that print with that, but you would.
Well,
Okay.
Print
Yes.
on print.
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot of print on print. It's a
Yeah.
subtle print.
Okay.
You wear it with your jacket that has print.
Yes.
And then you anchor it with your solid bottom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And the only other thing you need for spring in my little mind is a purse with color.
Nice.
And you're seeing a lot of purses that are being carried this way more so than over your shoulder.
And this is a good mama bag for those of us who carry the extra load of Cheerios and whatnot.
Exactly, and it does have a
Beautiful.
strap should you need.
Okay, very good. And if you had one statement to throw out there for spring, summer, Marjorie Torrance, lay it on us.
What would be my statement? Embrace something new.
Embrace something new and come to Foreign Affair.
Of
Marjorie,
course.
you're,
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot that. And come to Foreign Affair.
you're the sweetest.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Time now to dole out some TV free stuff. Up for grabs a copy of Nikki Jabor's brand new book, Groundbreaking Food Gardens. You could win it if you can tell us from which East Coast province does Lost Girl star Anna Silkale. We told you she'll be back for a 5th season of her show. Now you need to tell us where she was born. Once you know it, hit the website www.cnbc.com, click on the TV free stuff button, and submit your answer. Good luck to you, and we'll be right back to mix up a Mariner Martini. The perfect way to complete our spring celebration comes courtesy of a relatively new kid on the Halifax block. 2 doors down is the cool new spot opened by mega award-winning chef Craig Flynn. And just as the name suggests, it's literally 2 doors down from his much-adored original, Chives. Now, 2 Doors Down prides itself on a fresh and creative menu using as many locally sourced ingredients as they can. And that includes adult beverages. I know, because I follow them on Twitter, and they typically tweet a cocktail a day, and that got me thinking. So I called them up, and sweethearts that they are, they've whipped up an original East Coast special just for us. So without further ado, here's Stephen Crusher Cross with our Mariner Martini.
So we're starting off with 2 liquors, one from PEI. This is the PEI gin. It's really nice. It works with a little citrus on the edge of the juniper berries. And then we're using some amber rum from Lunenburg, from Ironworks, which is one of my favorites. We use a lot of their products. And the base of our cocktail is going to be some lemon juice with a simple syrup that I made, combining ingredients from around the Maritimes. So I have some baked appleberry and some molasses. So molasses is from New Brunswick, and we have baked apple from Newfoundland. And what I did with that is went to old recipes for cookies to find out how they would work well together, and came up with a gingerbread cookie. So a gingerbread molasses cookie, and then I used that as a base in syrup. So there's also fresh ginger and some cinnamon here to kind of mellow all the flavors out together. So what I'm going to do is I have my shaker already full of ice. So it's a ½ ounce of our gin and an ounce of our rum. This syrup is sweet, so we're going to use about 3 ounces of it. So, you can see there's some fresh ginger in there. That'll help bring the flavor through. And then I'll just cut whatever sugar, might be cutting it up with some fresh lemon. We give this a little shake. We don't want to give it too much. And I have a cinnamon and lemon garnish. There we are. And here we have our Mariner Martini.
Well, that's going to do it for CNBC's Spring Special. We're so glad you could join us. We're going to toast to spring with our Mariner Martini. Steve, thanks for this. 2 doors down. Gotta love it. You just keep those coming.